John Cornyn wants a promotion. It's February 29th, 2024, and these are your headlines. Just one day after Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell announced he would be stepping down from his post in November, Senator John Cornyn has announced that he'll be running to replace him as Senate GOP leader. Cornyn made the announcement this morning, pointing to his 2 terms as chair of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, as well as his time as Republican whip, as reasons to support his candidacy. He went on to say he believes the Senate's broken and that he can play a, quote, major role in fixing it. He said, "We will restore the important role of Senate committees and reestablish the regular appropriations process rather than lurch from one crisis to another. And we will return power back to our members. There will be no more backroom deals or forced votes on bills without adequate time for review, debate, and amendment." Sounds good, doesn't it? Cornyn's entry comes as little surprise to political observers, as he's gone on the record over the last few years as being interested in the position if and when McConnell steps down. And while support among his colleagues in the Senate remains to be seen, he has faced some turbulence among Republicans right here in Texas, his home state. In 2022, Cornyn joined Democrats to help pass the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. That law was criticized for incentivizing states to impose red flag laws. Those laws' purpose is to deny otherwise law-abiding citizens their right to purchase firearms by circumventing the Constitution's due process protections. Cornyn was condemned by the Republican Party of Texas during their convention, which took place right as the gun control proposal was being moved through the Senate. Cornyn was loudly booed during his speech to delegates, while a resolution denouncing red flag laws as a pre-crime punishment of people not adjudicated guilty was passed. A poll of Republican delegates in Texas found that 67% disapproved of the senior senator at that same convention. The fallout led to the legislation filed in the Texas House that would have amended the state election code by creating a recall provision for U.S. senators, though that legislation ultimately was not given a vote. Cornyn also came under fire from Attorney General Ken Paxton this week after a court struck down provisions of a $1.7 trillion spending bill that Cornyn supported. Senator Ted Cruz, Cornyn's counterpart right here in Texas, has not yet commented on Cornyn's candidacy. Less than a week before it was set to go into effect, a federal judge has blocked Texas from enforcing its new border security law, setting the stage for an immediate appeal. Here we go again. Now, U.S. District Court Judge David Ezra ruled today in favor of the federal government, arguing that Texas' new law violates the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution by exercising immigration enforcement power. He argued that surges in immigration do not constitute an invasion under Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution. That law in question, Senate Bill 4, and that creates a new state crime for entering Texas illegally and authorizes Texas law enforcement to arrest and prosecute those who cross the border illegally anywhere in Texas. During Governor Abbott's signing of the measure, he addressed the confusion around the supremacy clause, saying that the authors of the U.S. Constitution foresaw a situation when the federal government would be inattentive to states that face charges at their borders. Representative David Spiller, who authored the proposal, told Texas Scorecard he believes SB 4 is completely constitutional because it's not in conflict with the precedent set in Arizona v. United States, which was a previous Supreme Court case. It's not preempted by existing federal immigration law. It's not in conflict with existing federal immigration law. And Texas has the absolute constitutional right, authority, and ability to protect and secure its borders and its sovereignty. Now, the bill was set to go into effect on March 5th. Texas immediately appealed the ruling, though, to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, with Attorney General Ken Paxton saying Texas has the clear right to defend itself from the drug smugglers, human traffickers, cartels, and legions of illegal aliens crossing into our state as a consequence of the Biden administration's deliberate policy choices.
Are you worried about your kid's future? You should be. I'm Charles Blaine with Texas Tomorrow. This is a show where we're going to talk about the issues and the people that are pushing the policies that concern your family, your home, and your kids. Catch Texas Tomorrow every Thursday.
Lastly, former Texas middle school teacher Mark Mallow was sentenced to 131 years in prison after being found guilty on 20 counts of possessing and promoting child pornography. Charges against Mallow included using the Snapchat app to send images and video of young boys engaged in sex acts, using the Grindr app to solicit a picture of a 14-year-old boy's genitals, and using the Telegram app to share images of child sex abuse, showing victims as young as infants. Absolutely horrendous. A state judge in San Antonio imposed consecutive sentences for each count due to the shocking nature of the crimes. Under Texas law, possession of child sexual abuse material is a third-degree felony, punishable by 2 to 10 years in prison. Possession with intent to promote child pornography is a second-degree felony, punishable by 2 to 20 years in prison. Until his first child pornography arrest in August of 2022, the 27-year-old taught at Woodlake Hills Middle School in Judson Independent School District, located in northeast San Antonio. Mallow was arrested again in June 2023 while out on a $180,000 bond for the previous child porn charges. That second arrest was the result of a sting operation by independent journalist Alex Rosen, who specializes in tracking pedophiles online, recording their confessions, and turning over the evidence he collects to local authorities. According to Rosen, he and his predator poachers team have nabbed child predators in 36 states. He called Mallow's jail time their longest sentence yet. Mallow's teaching certificate remains valid, but it shows he is under investigation by the Texas Education Agency. For more of today's stories, head to TexasScorecard.com.